Closing Westfield Drive for Nichols. Don't do the time from like 8 a.m. to midnight or something, or is that? It just says those days.
Yeah. I don't know, are they gonna keep it continually closed?
What?
Do you wanna keep it continuously closed?
On those 2 days.
Or probably the whole time?
Yeah, but I mean, like, as soon as 8 to,
I ain't gonna be open, I gotta be closed. For the next.
Okay, everyone would rise and do the Pledge of Allegiance together.
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
That's what you're saying.
Good evening, just a few items to mention, if you could silence those cell phones. Our meetings are public and recorded. This is a business meeting, so we ask everyone to conduct themselves in a professional manner. Our city code allows for public comment up to 3 minutes. And for best sound quality, please pull these microphones down and lean into them to speak. So with that, we will kick off the finance committee.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Finance Committee, myself, Alderman Hobbit, Finance Chair of the Schwarzkopf and Peel, all present. In the new business, approval of prior month's meeting minutes, June 17. Make a motion to approve the minutes from June 17. Motion is second. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Most opposed. CD information, just real quick, nothing is really imminent on those, but we have 2 that will be due in October, 4 that will be due in November, and then another 2 in December. On your financial dashboard, revenue is right in line with the budget at 17% right now at this point. Under the expenditures, we're actually down, we're only at 5% of the budgeted numbers, and we're at 12%, so good. In your package, you have a couple proposals for cleaning quotes for City Hall. And I may defer to Jill on that since she kind of handled this.
Sure, so the city, it looks like the city has been with Janney King. They're a company, it looks like this invoice came from Dallas. I think we're serviced by their St. Louis office. Just wondering if there would be a way for us to maybe consider going to some place or with someone maybe a little bit local from the community who wanted to clean. I went out, got some quotes. I think somebody local would probably be a nice change of pace for us to have here, somebody who knows the area. I know there's obviously things about confidentiality. We probably have to have a confidentiality agreement, probably do a background check. But just wondering if there's any interest to consider a different vendor for that. Our current contract expires in September at the end. The 28th is the last cleaning time. So I got a couple quotes just to see what I could get to see if it would be something that you would be interested in for City Hall.
How does this quote compare to?
So the current invoice that we have, it looks like we are charged $550.99 per month. And that is for just a monthly contract billing amount. It's for, I've been told that they are supposed to come once a week. I'm never here when anybody comes, so I don't know if when they're coming. They come on Saturdays. We've had to kind of follow up about taking trash out, getting some things taken care of. So just wondering if anybody else would be interested.
So since your current contract is up in September, are you wanting action on this necessarily tonight so that you can notify them and give them a notice?
I have to give them 30 days notice. So as long as I would know by the end of August, it would be okay. So it's not something that has to be voted on today, but just by next month at the latest, if we are gonna change. $550.99. It's a monthly contract, yeah. Mm-hmm.
We're gonna, it would be 11.20 a month. If they can do it done for 4 hours,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Correct. It would be an increase from what we are paying right now.
Where's the other one out of?
She's from Waterloo. It's one of those things too, I might encourage you to kind of walk around the next time you're around City Hall or back in the offices in those areas, just kind of to view the quality, kind of what we're getting, what we see on a weekly basis. Just to see if it might be warranted to pay the extra money to get somebody local.
This has been several.
That's what I've heard. I've heard this has been something to switch on.
So what's everyone's pleasure? Do we want to make a move on this tonight? Do we want to get a few more estimates or take a look for a month? Do you feel there'll be more?
So we tried reaching out to about 5 to start with, and these are the only 2 that we were able to get, like within the past month. Some didn't do commercial cleaning. You know, we can also, you know, put a message out via Facebook, like, hey, if anybody's interested, you know, on giving us a quote. That's something that we haven't tried yet.
Are there each letters of recommendations from
Oh, that's a good idea.
we kind of know what to get into? Right. Well, since we don't necessarily have to make a move on it tonight, it's that little time, so.
And that is the nice thing about having local people, because these were all kind of people that we've been recommended to try contacting. So I already know those recommendations are favorable for both of these.
So maybe if you come up with and then
Okay.
kind of decide which way you would like to go
Okay,
and make a recommendation.
I will do that.
Okay, so we will table the City Hall cleaning quotes at this point. Talked with Jill this afternoon also, City Hall HTC phone system quote. It's in your packets, but it's not really complete at this point because she has not received the quote for converting over utility lines. And that could be pretty involved, I think is what we determined. So I think you're, at this point, want to wait until we get the quote on converting the utility department, is that correct?
Yes, as of last week,
Have you filled the office?
We updated the phones, but since then, they kind of said that the system they have, they're going away from the copper to the fiber side, so that's the step, so they're almost outdated as it is now.
I
So
thought we did something.
we did some phones, it's been a while, at least 2017, I can't remember exactly, but it's been a little bit, but we did upgrade the phones. But they're wanting to try and switch people over to the fiber side versus the copper side, so.
So at this point, we won't take any action until we get the quote on the rest of the system, so we can get the quote. Next item on the agenda is, the Kristen Vaughn loan application. I think everyone received the packet, it has quite a bit of information. Also, in your packet is the economic development meeting minutes from the night that she presented to the committee. As you can see, there was a motion to approve, and it was a unanimous vote by the economic development committee. And that amount would be for 550, is that correct? Very good. So again, there was some confusion, I know, on the application. They had under the employees to be determined, But if you read through the minutes from the actual meeting, she anticipates anywhere from 35 to 40 employees. Most will be somewhat part-time. She does have a full-time manager. So again, the number of employees is 35.
So we probably need to have a motion for it.
Correct. I would make a motion that we take the recommendation of the Economic Development Commission and to approve the loan. And we're doing it through the revolving loan fund for $550,000. Okay, we have a motion and a second. Discussion.
I think if we approve this, two additions that we need to make. First, that before we're going anyway, we do have a commercial appraisal on the building. And secondly, that no funds did not receive the $550,000. Once no funds will be available to her until she provides us with invoices for the work. So that $550,000 will not go out all at once.
So your two stipulations were number one, the appraisal, correct? And no funds.
Stuart, I think you gave us some recommendations on. Yeah, I agree.
No funds until we receive the invoices.
I gave them some recommendations on certified, commercial certified general appraisal. So, that was, what do you think? What
Is there a target number that we're looking for?
I'm sorry,
Is
Bill.
there a target number that we're looking for on the appraisal, or? we get,
Well, that's up to the appraiser. I mean, Kristen's gonna
But I
have
mean,
about 1.1 million invested in this project. Now, what the appraiser comes up with, it'll be two values, as is and as improved. So he'll look at all the projects or additions, renovations that she wants to do to this building and take that into consideration when he does his as complete on it.
I guess, let me rephrase that a little bit. Would it be, advantage to have that appraisal before we make a decision on the loan, to make sure that we're not?
And we hope to do that, to have that in file. He should have that, to, the city before any funds are advanced.
Before we approve the loan? Well, yeah, I'm saying, I guess, in my mind, I would think we want it before we approve the loan.
We'll make it
Not
contingent,
approve the loan and then, because once we approve the loan, then it's not really much we can do with the appraisal, or we can say, on
contingent upon the appraisal.
I mean, the other concerns I've got when you look at a revolving loan, I mean, it obviously is full-time. If you look at, the 40 part-time jobs, and let's see, we wanna stretch that a little, and make that 20 for the full-time jobs. But it still wouldn't match up the monies. And I'm not certain, this document says 15,000, we have another document that says 20,000.
The documents, we've got a listing sheet of all of our incentives, and for some reason, there's 20,000 on there. The other thing, I think this number could go back to at least 1992. When I asked Google last week what a dollar was in 1992 versus last year, dollar is now worth $2.14. So that 15,000 could probably be at least double, triple, whatever. So there's some. We don't have it in writing, but in practicality, that number is dated.
The other thing, Bill, in that revolving loan guidelines, those, that $15,000, that came from DECA years ago. And we owe it, what we use DECA money, we use that $15,000. This is the city of Redlands. mirror that, but maybe I'm wrong, but I think the city of Redmond can do whatever they want. They don't have to go by the guidelines, don't get me wrong, it's a good idea. But I don't think that's.
I think you're right. I don't know that we have to follow those guidelines. But it's just kind of what's always been done with these funds.
Right.
You know, and I guess, with what we're saying here, we're gonna change direction, we probably should change this before we. Stuart and I actually had a little bit of a conversation too, that, probably between economic development and the council or some representative, maybe rewrite these guidelines, because if they're back from 1992, they probably need to be revised. So that people can't take advantage of it. And the other thing that could possibly happen is, if we move ahead with the new business park, you may have more demand, and it would behoove everyone, I think, to rewrite those guidelines to make sure that it's up to date. But I don't disagree with that. But I guess, are we kind of, if we approve this alone, documents that we have, think we.
I agree with that, so there are $15,000 to $20,000 to do.
Well, I don't, well, even if we, that there, if we look at 20,000, then we're gonna say we're moving that 15,000 up to 27.5. That's pretty, the amount of money that she's wanting. I mean, the job requirements is one concern that I have. The other is the ways, we were never intended to be the bank. And I kind of get the feeling that we're being the bank here. Not just filling in some financing to help her with the growth. That's no concern. Now, I don't know what we're going to do. But that's something, if we want to rewrite that, I don't. The other side, where I do all this, if we really want to update everything and bring it up 30 times, $1 million is really much money. So that would be something that would have to be considered also. What I remember this loan is when we got the money from PDAP.
Yeah.
And I think we got $1 million from that, is that correct?
I don't remember what it
I don't
was.
remember the dollar amount.
It started with the old, plant, the old cement plant,
Right,
and if I remember right, I think it was $500,000.
yeah, but, I mean, where I'm going is the state gave us grant, loan, whatever they called it. And I think it was $1 million, and the city of Redmond decided to put $1 million in on their own. So that's what created the two separate funds. Yeah, there was a CPAP fund and there was this revolving loan. And they were kind of mirrored off of each other. I'm quite certain there's nothing that says that has to remain that. That's how it kind of stuck.
It was a total process appropriation, I think.
Total process, is that what I couldn't.
Was it total?
It was something like that, yeah.
And,
Oh, I remember.
it was $500,000, and I think the governor even came in, and they landed at the hospital lot and went down and seen. I was there, and, that started this fund, or part of it anyway. And then all the payments that were made to the city used that money to reinvest, in, all these small business homes in town.
But we were taking the money.
Yeah.
The money that we got.
That's
We've
right.
been fortunate to get most of it.
Yeah.
We got one bad one, yeah.
What's that with?
But, I mean, it's just the questions I got. I don't know what, if we.
Stuart, could you explain a little bit, like you're saying about the not being banked? So if they did split it, I know it's written in here that it would become, like if they split the loan with the bank and us, then we become second in line.
Well, that's right, that's a good point. Chris is to my knowledge, that building is free to quit, and I think she paid $290 or $390 or something like that for that building. Didn't get that much equity to begin with, so she's offering the city rather the first mortgage on that property. And the total completion cost is gonna be like more than $1 million. So she's gonna dump a lot more of her own cash into that building, and the city's still gonna have the first mortgage on it. If she goes to a conventional commercial bank, if she came to me and asked me for that, I'd want a first position, first real estate mortgage on that property, which puts the city in second position. But in this case, I mean, there's still a lot of equity there, either way you look at it. But the city is in a much better position the way this is being submitted, those are in first. So $550,000 on that building, and if it comes in at 1.1, fantastic, you get a loan to value of 50%. If it comes in a little bit less, I would go up to 80% on loan to value. So I would, myself, I'd go with $100,000 on the
And, not getting it all done at once.
Yeah, that's the other thing. This will be what's called a drawdown line of credit, which means you set it up for $550,000, and then she'll take draws on it as she completes this building. And then I've asked Rick, or hopefully Rick will do this, to make sure that all the receipts and all the funds are dispersed properly. So he's not gonna run off and spend this money somewhere.
Right. But you had said that she currently owns that 3 1/3
Right.
because under the description of what she's gonna do with these funds, it says she's gonna pay off current financing used for acquisition
That's,
and building renovation.
that's part of her funds are gonna be used for the renovation. So it's gonna be used for the renovation, but what you got in front of you there, but it will be used for the renovation. So, if she's got 300 in there already, she borrows, $550 a year, she still comes up with the difference if it does come in at 1.1 million.
Yeah, I mean, those are concerns of mine, I don't know what everybody else is thinking.
Stuart, is there any timeline how quickly she's gonna start moving on it?
She, probably August, September, and then her completion date is, February or March of next year. And then during that time period, we'll just be interest on whatever she has dispersed. And then at the end of the time period, we'll set it up on conflict risk.
Brian, when I either had talked or texted with her, I can't remember which it was, this was somewhat time sensitive, she had kind of devoted her summer to getting this moving. I think there is some element of time sensitivity that I was led to believe.
If we would look at revamping this, I mean, eventually put us back a long time, yeah.
That can't happen.
No.
Not before, no, I think it needs to be revamped, but not.
100%.
Yeah.
I
In
actually-
your opinion, if this loan wasn't approved as presented, you still move forward with that?
Which you know,
If this loan wasn't approved as presented, if she would still move forward with that project?
that's a question for Chris. He bought the building, my guess is yes, and I can't answer that for her.
I just want to, what I'm thinking, if we did another one, you know, we should,
Hi, I'm Bridget Blackmore. I'm actually Kristen's cousin. I'm the restaurant manager that we run in the kitchen. I have 20 years in the industry, along with an associate and a bachelor's from Johnson Wales University in food service management and culinary arts. This is something we talked about long before we knew anything about any kind of loan or disbursement or funding of cash from the city. This is something we started talking about last summer when she was in town. She comes to town every year for the picnic and for family meetings and stuff. And she saw that Susie was available and she kind of called me up and said, how do you feel about doing this with me? If I were to go through with Curious Restaurant, would you come run it with me? So I would think, yes, I don't want to totally wholeheartedly speak for Kristen, but this is something we were already chasing a year ago, long before any kind of bids, proposals, or what have you were put together. If I can at least speak to that.
And I did want to mention, I just talked with Kristen today. She said she will be back in town on Friday. Unfortunately, she could not be here tonight. That's why Bridget's here. But she does plan to be back in town on Friday, and her architect is coming in next week as well, I believe she said.
You know, it was all great answers.
The other thing I kind of look at too, number one, recommendation from the not commission, and number two, is cleaning up a vacant building, basically.
I'm not saying I'm all in favor. And if we can talk about concerns that I have, I'll just create, being the plan.
Well, and those jobs, that's kind of a look into your crystal ball and say what you can do. That'd be like me telling you I'm gonna put 10 more people on this year.
Oh,
what I mean?
Well, yeah.
Lesser amount will be in second position too on his pilot vacation.
Mhm.
He starts the mighty thing too.
So,
I'm thinking to the future, when somebody else comes up.
I think the same thing, but then I look back at, we had previously done 450,000, that was 7 years ago, so I mean, that was a heck of a lot of money back then too, so. Obviously it worked out, and I know that was a very successful business also.
First one I voted on one of these was in 07, it's 350,000. Yeah. So I don't know,
And I agree with Rodney, just the unanimous vote from the Economic Development Commission, I assume you guys, I'm sure you do due diligence to make sure everything's taken care of, so that,
Stuart told quite a bit of time on it with her. And I was hoping her architect would be that, because he did a really great presentation. Some of the drawings, which you find in there were, and he doesn't mention it, but he's also a general contractor, so he knows a lot about the structure of the building.
okay, so, we have a motion and a second, and the only stipulations on the motion were that we would receive the commercial appraisal, and no funds would be dispersed until we receive the invoices, correct?
What the correct term is.
Drawdown line of credit.
Drawdown.
It does say that the money is pulled down and draws not all at one time. It does say that down there under the mission statement. So,
Not that I don't think it would be an issue, but the hearings that she's gonna be looking at, what would happen?
This is Jeff question a little bit.
The hearings that she's gonna be looking at, is this proposed, I mean, what's your feel? Do you feel there's gonna be resistance there, or do you feel it's not a problem?
well, I don't think it's hard to speak for a planning commission.
Oh, I understand.
In my experience, I think it's gonna be fine. The only reason she hasn't gone to planning commission yet is because if we give her the special use to sell alcohol, it has to be open 6 months. And she doesn't think construction is gonna allow her to be open. She wants to wait until closer to opening day. I've explained that to her, though, absolutely. So,
A lot of things can change between now and then.
I understand.
And
I've explained that to her, and she said if it wasn't for the 6 months, she'd go ahead and get it out of the way.
what she's buying,
It has nothing to do with the license, it's a special use permit.
oh,
For the
it has to
property.
be.
Right. She can get the license as long as,
Right.
Have we ever granted extensions on those special use?
I don't know that we can, I would,
just for her sake, I think it would be a lot safer to have all that in place before you start.
I would be very nervous.
Spending some money.
I would be very nervous, but, I think the odds are in her favor, but like you said, I think it's not very nervous. They're no better.
Jeff, a reminder of what we're doing, which is, pages, you got 3 on those.
Yeah, she needs one for the liquor, the sell liquor, because it's currently does not. She'll need one for the beer garden. She'll need one for the outdoor stage. She said the outdoor stage would be for, small bands, maybe a movie night type of thing, but she'll need one for that as well. And she even said that she doesn't know if these things are all gonna happen at once, or when it happens down the road, but eventually she'll need three.
And we've got favorable history on 2 of those things already, so. Any further discussion? Okay, we have a motion and a second, that's going to be a couple items. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, okay? Okay. Passes. Okay, I think I'm done, finally. Any public comments, or anything for the good of the city? Hearing none, I will adjourn finance at 7:30, or 6:30, I'm sorry.
Thank you, Rodney. Next up is personal.
All right, I'll call the personal committee order at 6:30. So, people good on Hubert Mark review. We have no old business, under new business, and the motion to approve the fire month. Food section, 124. Second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Sorry, who did that? Who made the motion and, okay, okay, thank you.
Passes, any public comments? Hearing none, I will close personnel.
Thank you. Next up will be public health and safety.
Okay, we'll call public health and safety order at 6:30. Myself, Ranker, Hebert, Eeyore, and Ojon are all present. I have no old business, under new business, I make a motion, we approve the Monday, June 17th, 2024 minutes. Second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Carried. Next item is the departmental activity report. John had a copy of it at our desk here tonight. Does anyone have any questions for me? Okay. Next item is permission to sell 2010 Dodge Charger on gov deals. I'll make a motion to allow John to sell the 2010 Dodge Charger on gov deals.
Second.
Motion and a second, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Public comments, anything for the good of the city? Bill, one question. I think I brought it up a month or so ago. Any update on the cameras that get approved for the edges of town?
They're up, they've been up. I'm waiting on the DEA to get me their MOU. I've already signed it. The city of Alton is the mother city that takes care of it. They've signed the MOU, memorandum of understanding, and I'm waiting for the DEA to get it back to me. And then we'll be able to read them. But they are up, just waiting for that MOU.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Anything else? Hearing none, we'll adjourn public health and safety at 6:32.
Okay, thank you. Next up is cultural committee.
I'll call the cultural committee to order at 6:32. Myself, Damon, Reinecker, Hebert, and Dojan are all present. I have no old business. New business, I'd like to make a motion to approve the prior month's meeting minutes from June 17th.
Second.
All those in favor? All those opposed? Motion carries. I'll pass this one to Jill to talk about the website.
So I know we've mentioned before that I was going out, getting some quotes on possibly people to revamp our website, do a new logo. The quotes that I have received are in your packets. I will say I do have one more, company who is local, who is also preparing a quote. They said they could get it to me by the end of this week. So at this point, I'm not really asking for any, motion to be made or approval, but I just wanted you to be able to see the differences in prices. There is, one quote is significantly less than the other two. The other two also have add-ons and additions and all these other things that you can kind of add on to it. So all of them are pretty much open to discussion on what we want to see on our website, what's not necessary, and how that would all come about. 618 Creative, I have had conversations with them. You'll see they have like two different bids. One is like a marketing logo redesign proposal. That is something, separately that they kind of put in there. But it would all kind of coincide, because if we're gonna be redoing a website, and we're talking about possibly redoing a logo and a rebrand, we might as well do that all in the same time, from my perspective. But, so I wanted you to just have those in front of you. If you have any questions on those, or you want to talk to me later about them, feel free.
When I was talking with Joel earlier, I'm under the assumption that we kind of want a new website. Because one of the less expensive ones is kind of just copying and pasting our current website into what they already have, not really updating it. So also look at that whenever we're looking at it. I think we need a new layout, new website, something that really pops. That's my thought. So nothing to do on that. Next thing I have is a request from the Randolph County Shrine Club to collect a four-way stop on Friday, August 30th from 2:30 to 6 p.m. I'd like to make a motion to accept it.
Second.
All those in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Request from the chamber for the holiday lighting parade. I'd like to make a motion, we accept resolution number 24-002. They'd like to close the streets from 5:30 to 7:30 on Friday, November 29th. Make a motion, we accept that. All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. And then the last one is Savannah Cake's request to close part of Westfield Drive for two upcoming businesses, basically from the highway to the entrance of the old UCC church. For the dates of July 26, 2024 and August 17, 2024. The only thing I don't have, and I don't know if we need it, but are times, like, is he looking from 8 a.m. through midnight, or that, do we need that information?
I know the one August 17th starts at 11 and goes to 9. The hours of the.
Okay, so for the next council meeting, maybe I'll ask him to give me the hours. Okay.
That way, we know he's not gonna close it at 6 in the morning.
An hour
Right.
prior to, an hour after, between the,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah, okay,
Actually, then those are on special council. That's the motion as we go here.
okay, sorry. So, I'd like to make a motion to accept Savannah Cake's request.
Second.
All those in favor? All those opposed? Motion carries. Any public comments, anything for the good of the city? Hearing none, I close the cultural committee at 6:36.
Okay, thank you. Next up is Public Works.
Public Works at 6:36. Myself, Billy John, Humbuck, Sports Golf and Rider, all present. No other business, our plan report.
We did complete our rice and ESHAP testing, urge, method 9 that we had to do with the catalyst for unit 1, that was completed on June 24th. On July 9th, we had our remaining urge testing and method 9 testing for units 3, 4, 7, and 8, and then the method 9 only for number 2. One additional thing is, I got a call today that they were doing summer readiness testing through MISO for IMEA. We got a call today, we generated from 3 to 5. One of them, if the system ever calls on it, they call us, we have to be able to give them output, basically take strain off the grid, so we're supplying power, so we ran that without any issues today.
Utilities and streets.
Under the electric, the IMEA contract extension consideration approval, obviously we had, Kevin Gaten and Mike Ken and Sean McCartney here, last month for the approval. I would just be looking at, I kind of sent questions out, I don't think anybody really had any questions or concerns. Would just be, requesting approval of the IMEA contract extension, capacity purchase agreement, and the ordinance with applicable signatures.
I make that motion.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Carries. Anything else under the rest?
Under gas, water, sewer, there's nothing under streets, just, we're scheduled for oil and chip tomorrow and Wednesday. Actually texting with the contractor now, trying to forecast possible for tomorrow, but we have a rain day scheduled for Friday, so I'll be having this, conversation with them after the meeting, trying to determine what we're doing for tomorrow, but it is scheduled for tomorrow and Wednesday, with a rain day on Friday. And then street sealing, Locust from Sixth down to Kaskaskia and Madison for basically Water Tower Place and Power Street, that's scheduled for next Monday and Tuesday, part of the permanent street road. And notices have been sent out for all those, Facebook messages, going to put on the website, the Orange County News, and no parking signs will be out.
Utility rate studies.
Under the electric one, utility financial solutions, I've been working with, spoke with, UFS regarding the details they're working on proposal, I currently don't have one yet. This company did recently complete work for Freeburg and also worked with the city of Highland, so that's where I got the recommendation for both of them on that, that proposal will be forthcoming. And, under the water and sewer, that is I'm working with Clark Cameron as I did back in 2019, we did that, gathering the necessary information. And that is just, there's no cost for that rate study since we are members of Illinois Rural Water. So as I get that information, we'll have a packet that we can go over later for, you know, what their possible recommendations would be, but that could be later on down the road.
The next is the Mill Street drainage. Basically, you know, we've talked about, I've done with Josh and Jeff, and we've looked over those projects. And as you know, we've been told numerous times that it's not the city's responsibility to take care of personal property. You know, we talked about, is this a drainage? Well, it's been a drainage, that's been a natural waterway for quite some time. And naturally, it was that way for 110 years because the railroad went in 1876 and was taken out in 1985. You know, there was a massive ditch behind the railroad that was called the one underneath, which took care of it. Now you've got, the railroad was taken out and actually you've got a massive erosion problem back there. But that's not the responsibility of the city for property that you own. I can give prime examples of Justin Water is just outside of town here at the Weir property. When Weir's put that in, all of a sudden Route 3 started flooding. And that's because the culvert that went alongside the highway couldn't handle the water. The state came in and fixed it to solve the problem. No different than the city come down here and fix the problem, put culverts underneath the road to divert the water and stuff there too. The proper stuff, eroding on the Eaton property on that farm up there, they had to hire Nucleus to come in, fix it, and take care of the erosion problem. It's the same thing, if when water runs down somewhere, where do you stop? So we gotta fix your property, is this the next property, and the next property, and the next property on. There's other properties here in town, that when the high school parking lot was put in, there's erosion problems going down behind the Lutheran school. You know, and I get it, we understand, you know, where we're at, but unfortunately, we can't fix everybody's problems on their property. So, with that being said, I have to make a motion that we're not gonna do any repairs to your property. We do fix the right-of-ways that's in our road. But, you'll make a quick speech, go ahead, but,
Is it a right then for us to fix our erosion problem?
is there what?
Fix our erosion problem, just fill that dip in?
We have a right to fix our own property then?
It's a natural waterway though, so if you wouldn't stop the natural waterway.
Oh, we're not gonna stop it, we'll put it back on you. Back on the city, on the street, where it was before. Where was it before?
Well, no, the water ran down to a creek, which is behind your property.
You know, it didn't go underneath that culvert, but that culvert was where the railroad did.
Yeah.
Coming down the side of the railroad.
Right.
It was not coming across my property.
So you're saying no water, where
There
the
was
water,
not a waterway there, you cannot prove that that is a natural water.
and, so it's the lowest point of the area, so where's the water, where did the water always go?
It'll be the lowest point.
Where did the water go?
I don't know, it's not my problem, just like you're saying.
You said, you
So
said,
you're
saying it runs uphill? You're saying it runs up from the farm and uphill and goes up?
no, no, I'm saying the water ran down to the ditch behind the railroad and went underneath the culvert. And you're saying it didn't, so where did the water go down?
The water come down the side of the ditch from up at the trailer park and behind Willie Raptor. It did not go across the property until that culvert was put on the corner.
On the
So,
south
so
side.
where did, so you're not saying no water ever came down that street?
No, you could have rode through it in your bicycle many times. I wish I took a picture of it. The water, they blocked the road because the water was sitting on the road down there. Many times.
Sure, so where did so the water runs downhill, where did the water go?
It sat on the city's road. It sat on the road and they used to have to put up barricades. You should recall that when you were a child.
You know,
So then the
I
city.
know, when there was massive rains, I'm sure, I'm not
Right,
denying.
so then the
Anyway.
city put up barricades so that people could not drive through there, you couldn't ride your bike through there or nothing. The city came along and put in curb and guttering on the south side of Mill Street
Sure,
and ran it all the way down there. They added a drain and there's a nice big metal drain cover. And they put in two, you correct me on that, two 12-inch,
sure, so the water would go under the road instead of over.
one running from east to west and one running from south to north. There are two 12-inch culverts that come in to that where the city built up the road
Sure.
and built the culvert under it. That's when all that, so no longer was that water wasn't going into people's home, out of their downspouts onto their property, their yards. It was now coming out to the curb and guttering, running south, downhill to that dip right there. And that's, the city had to solve the problem because the water was just going to be closed a lot of times. So they added that. But the thing is, they did admit in their minutes, were you able to look at the meeting minutes?
Yes, I've looked through things, but what somebody promised or not promised 40 years ago, I can't, it's kind of totally irrelevant, but
Well,
still.
this is a city's meeting minutes.
Okay.
I mean, I'm missing some of them, how ironic. But anyway, it says in the meeting minutes that the storm sewer will be run to the railroad.
Okay.
It never was done. It was never completed. There was not a storm sewer that was ran to the railroad. Whenever,
But you said it's not a waterway, so then why do you need to
It's
stop?
not.
this is when they put in the curb and guttering. It became a waterway. This is after they put in the curb and guttering. It was all in the same conversation.
You can, I guess I can argue that the water runs downhill, and it always has, so it's always had to go somewhere.
You're
That has not changed. Your yard is flooded, the old 7-up plan, all that has always flowed that way.
Sometimes the water would just dissipate.
Excuse
Both
me.
sides of the road.
Excuse
It's
me.
not no big rain because we did not have the curb and gutter directed there. It was just on the side of the road that was there. You guys directed it down.
Excuse me, the city is not required to fix it, they've agreed not, that they do not want to fix it, I guess, and we haven't taken a vote. But you have other recourse, you can get an attorney.
Definitely. That's the next.
And push it to the next level. But at this time, nothing's going to change, the city's going to not fix it.
That's why when I had all the pictures and everything, because we just didn't take care of. If that's the way they don't want to help the city look better or anything, I thought that would be something the city would want to do.
So I think everybody said everything,
So, sure. So basically, well, never mind. I make a motion at this time, the city does not take any action on the, Mill Street drainage issue. And second? All in favor? Aye. Motion carries. So that's where we're at right now.
Since I'm up here with regard to the Freedom of Information request, will the rest of that be provided to me? I mean, you're way past your deadline, which could run $150 a day, but I got certain meeting minutes, but it actually said the bids would be open on August 1st. My email, I had 2020.
This would be open for,
On the curb and guttering.
or
The
you're
city
saying the
of
city would approve a meeting to put curb and gutter and run drainage just down your property.
Correct. It states it exactly in your meeting minutes. I sent them to you on email.
No, I've read through all the
Okay.
emails.
Yeah.
The meeting, I did send an email saying that was all within fine. because they looked through all the files at City Hall, so that was obviously before Joe was here. So that was all searched up before, and they had what they could find, and I said, I specifically gave the dates for these, but this is what I provided was what we could find.
So I have July 5th of '83, and that's when Mr. Mahoney felt that he could have detailed plans ready in about 2 weeks. He would advertise for bids on July 21st and 28th, and have the bids for opening in time for the August 1st meeting. Mr. Raffle moved that the engineer be authorized to draw up specs as reviewed in each ward, and to advertise for bids to be open for review on August 1st. Seconded by Dennis Brown and carried unanimously. This is all regarding the curb and gutter that was placed on Mill Street, on the south side of Mill Street.
Okay, so that's the current gutter.
That directed the water on Mill Street.
So if you have all that, what are you missing?
I don't have it. I have July 5th of 1983, I have July 18th of '83. Nothing until, July 7th of 1986. That's what I'm asking right now. I need to know the meeting minutes. To complete my freedom of information request. Like some-
I think, what I'm saying is I don't have access to that, or I say access, I don't, where even find all those, I don't know. Because I don't know where they are.
I am more than happy to go back and review that and see if we can find anything else. I don't, that, I mean, I
It's very important. I
can,
mean,
that'd be the
that's
only thing that I could do.
The whole thing about the curb and gutter unit, gonna be the plans, the proposal, and whoever won the bid, and they were supposed to be open on August 1st meeting. But my freedom of information request ended at 7/18/83 and didn't begin again until July of 1986.
So you have all the committee approvals, you don't have the council.
I have 3 pages of meeting minutes.
So you
August
don't have
2nd of
word.
'82.
This is all back in '80.
Yeah, it's an 80.
Right.
So, that's what it looks like. There's 1 month, next month. So, they're tight, but the dates are handwritten.
Okay, well, Jill trying to see if she can get that for you. Go from there.
But, just for clarification, since it is our property, you're saying we have to manage our own problem, right?
No, I mean, it's the homeowner's responsibility to maintain their property. Now, if you want to declare that it's not an actual waterway,
Yeah. So Country Club Drive then, why was that project?
I mean, that was on the right of way because it was putting water on the road. I believe.
That was, it was just a repair project, it wasn't something we really brought up, and we found an issue and corrected it, the pipe.
Okay. But as long as I know that it's clear, it's our property, so we can repair our property how we. That he's not taking responsibility, we're responsible and we can fix our problem.
I can't legally make any,
You just said that, you're not, the city's not taking responsibility, right, because it's our own personal property?
at this time, I'm not committing it myself.
I think you're doing what they can, they're reporting to know at this time. Now, if something comes up later on, they can, I'm sorry, they're voting no at this time, so this kind of discussion is over. If you get those other minutes and it says something about it, but remember, just because something was talked about 40 years ago, and it wasn't.
It was approved and done and finished and completed.
There was something else that changed, or there was some misinterpretation. I do not know, I'm just telling you, that's 40 years ago. I didn't hear.
Yeah. No, I approved by the minutes. The minutes does say that it was completed, the project was completed. Except for the one part that say that they were gonna run the sewer all the way to the railroad tracks. And that was not done.
You did say we're supposed to take care of our problem, I heard it.
We were prepared on
Okay, under new business, I make a motion, we approve prior month's meeting minutes. All in favor? Aye. Next item is a hearing request for Steve Mertz and Clint Crafton. I'd like to make a motion that they attend the 2024 ICC Pipeline and Safety Conference for 2 days in Effingham.
Include travel and lodging.
which includes travel and lodging and the fee for the, conference. All in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Next item is consideration of updating part-time labor rate to match part-time's. Yeah, the regular part-time rate and the part-time parks rate different. And it's kind of always been that way, but we kind of, in fact, I know I discussed kind of, I think I maybe talked to you for about a little bit, Bill as well, but we're kind of waiting to get a lot of other stuff taken care of first. I just wanted to try and create some continuity and, you know, basically say, okay, part-time rates, because they're doing kind of the same things, you know, and can be used interchange.
How much difference is it?
Here, it's, 1541 to 1611, and right now it's only gonna affect one part-time employee, which is if it's a full $9.99, it's $700. Make that motion. The 16, yeah, just to make it a flat part-time rate of $16.11, which is the current right now.
Did somebody make that motion?
I made a motion, and he seconded. Okay, just a little backwards.
I got that one.
That's all right. Any other public comments? Just real quick, wanted to mention, I know, kind of with the cleaner parks and stuff going on, it's getting bigger down there, I don't know what your guys' thoughts are on, you know, with larger crowds potentially, do we wanna try and do kind of a Waterloo situation and kind of block off part of that street, and I know they have cars parked on both sides, and then you've got people going in and out, and just watch your thoughts, I didn't have a formal request or anything from anybody, but just as from a public safety standpoint.
If it becomes a public safety, we close street.
Okay, I'll work with you.
Right, if it's, if we determine it's a public safety issue, we'll shut it down.
Okay, well, I'll work with John on that, and when that time comes, if it comes.
And John, could we relocate the radar trailer down closer to that area too, to slow the traffic possibly?
I'm gonna increase the speed on it,
Right.
make it faster.
Because you're right, Josh, I think there are folks gathering in there, and there's no problem about spilling onto Route 3, is there?
Has there been any issue with O'Reilly's and people parking in their parking lot?
I've not heard of it. Okay. To me, I haven't seen a whole lot of cars open, maybe a few select, but not too many really.
Okay.
It seems like they're going down and using the old Baptist Church parking lot right now.
Okay.
Anything else? I make a motion to close or adjourn at 6:55.
Okay, thank you, next up is zoning committee.
Thank you, Mayor. I'll call the zoning committee to order at 6:55. Myself, Hebert, Schwarzkopf, and Lon Newboy are present. First thing is the Redwood Business Park lot pricing worksheet there. Insert in the packet, showing two different pricings. The first one is the cost of the city without grant money. The second one, cost of the city with grant money. Rodney and Jeff worked on this to come up with these numbers, so I'll let you guys kind of explain what you came up with here.
Iteration 2 is what Rodney and I talked about, probably makes the most sense. We divided the existing properties in the first phase into 3 different categories: the highway frontage, cul-de-sac, which is BC zoning, and then we have 2 industrial lots. The numbers that we're shooting for, that 897 is up at the top, that's the cost without. Of course, those are based on estimates. Trying to keep the first iteration, you see that the spread of the cost is pretty varied. Kind of talked with Rodney about how he does his subdivision, he keeps it a little closer, rather than so varied. So we thought iteration 2 made more sense. We come within about $6,000, so guessing to break even. On another note, that 897 is probably a little high. Josh redid his gas and electric install. It's actually a little bit lower than what I used to come up with that 897. So, then we both agree that we should probably look at page 2, the cost to the city with grant.
My only thought on it would be, I was just thinking this when I was looking through it, I mean, I agree with what you're saying, but if we chose to go out there, prices on it, if we negotiate down to what be an advantage to us, or just set prices and that's it, you know, I don't know.
Well, I think it kind of comes down to two is, I think if we go back to the original industrial one, probably lost money.
Well, I've said that all along, we can't expect to, you know.
Right, and I guess my only fear would be is if we go with the higher rate, if you're looking at almost $100,000 per lot higher, you might scare people off and they wouldn't go. I don't know.
That's why I'm asking that question to see what everybody else thought, you know, I just thought.
The other thing that can happen, you know, you're doing it in phases anyway. So if you go into phase one and you see, hey, there's a demand here and we can probably raise our prices, at least you've got a starting point, and anybody that's interested in going to phase one, you can say, hey, here's what we're thinking, and go from here. Because again, if you overprice it too much at the very beginning, you will drive people away, you never look at anybody's starting point.
Yeah, I don't know, just a thought.
I mean, that's an excellent point.
Give us some wiggle room, but if they come to town and say, hey, I got X amount of dollars, we'll pay
In my mind, to get this thing going, if we get somebody who wants to come in, I would still wiggle with them, because once you get somebody out there, you know, if you build it, if one comes, will more come, you know, start.
You're saying with either price?
That's just me. I have no experience in this, but that's just the way I kind of think.
I guess for the whole question here, where do we want?
Well, and again, this gives you a starting point. Anything can be negotiated. If, you know, if you say lot 15, somebody's interested, we've got priced at $145,950, and they come in and they say, hey, we're willing to give you $135, it still comes down to the city if they're willing to negotiate and take that. But I think this kind of gives you at least a starting point, because right now, Justin Limbo, he doesn't know, hey, what's this lot gonna cost me? At least if he can tell them, here's where we're thinking, get some ball rolling, and start, and get some money out.
What I would like to do is, if we can decide on, you know, where we wanna start, is, you know, Jill does really good marketing, give these numbers to Jill, and she's got these downstate Illinois groups and all this other stuff, and we can start getting this stuff out there, with the idea that once we get it built, we can have somebody moving in. That's the whole.
In last speaking with SI Now, they had, they estimated we were a match to approximately 35 different requests. So we would be eligible for whatever somebody's looking for with our current project. That's not saying we're going to get them, but we were a match for at least 35 of those who are looking to locate in Southern Illinois.
I know we've had those fears, I guess I could say, in the past, about what we do. But it always seems to have worked out. I mean, it's, you know, the other East Park out there, that sold out way faster.
And just to clarify from a legal standpoint, even though we've got these advertised, if we get into a negotiating process, that's fine.
And even on another point, Jill has been working her tail off on our rights, which could even help further from this project.
The question I have, they seem awful small for business parks or industrial. No, I just wonder, is that, what's the typical size business that we're looking for, that are they gonna use?
Until Ultra Blade moved in, lots were too big. Everybody thought the lots were too big. He's more, he's got an acre or two more than he needs. Total Titanium is the same way, the Vita, all that's the same way. Mike Molson, when we came in with Ultra Blade, we actually used up the entire lot. So the idea was, I remember, we started this 5 years ago. We designed this so that utilities, drainage and things will be, there might be 2 lots there that we can join, but I'm trying to say they were split apart, but if smaller things wanted to come in, like First Stage or whatever, you had the lot there to sell. And if they wanted a bigger lot, they could sell the lot too.
Like the Vita, what size is that lot? I just don't know.
Off the top of my head, I don't know, but I bet it's.
Okay.
The rest
I was
of them-
thinking that, but I wasn't sure.
The rest of them are almost 3.
Okay.
Roberts farm them for the last 20 years. You know, okay, you're probably right, maybe they're fine.
I know we're done, yeah, I just wondered,
The
I
biggest
just
one,
wondered.
the biggest one in our lot now
Really started out.
But, and from that standpoint, then I agree, I think it's easier to divide two lots.
Yeah.
Than if you've got a great big one and all of a sudden you're trying to divide it up and split it.
Yeah, no, I completely agree, and I think it's easier to combine two lots at $100,000 than it is at 165 also, is what the reason I was asking.
Guys just looked it up on, the word or something, but, they're about between 2.5 and 3 acres down there. You know, Mike joined those two properties.
It is 1.69.
Okay. Yeah, no, I just wasn't sure, they seemed like we would need to combine a couple for most people, so.
There's been one thing to remember too, we did use the setback.
Yeah.
There's no hurry out, this is very good.
Right. Okay.
Kind of thought maybe we should to move forward with advertising with these numbers.
I'll make a motion that we use with grant money, highway frontage iteration number 2, which comes to a combined total of $891,350.
We got a motion and a second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right, moving on to the next item, make a motion to approve prior meeting minutes.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Any public comments or anything for the city?
I do have one thing, I sent it out in my Friday weekly report, but, August 26th, to do the, comprehensive plan. I was gonna come down, we have a, informative session with you guys, and, we're gonna invite all the different subcommittees, planning commission, all our yards. That'll be 6 o'clock, August 26th.
Got a regular meeting then?
No, it's an off meeting. It is a Monday, but it's an off.
That's all, we'll adjourn the zoning committee at 7:05.
Thank you. Last up is recreational facilities.
Thank you, Nicole, Recreational Facilities, 705, Dojan, Honda, Boyd Field, and Mon are all present. Make the no business, I'll make the motion to approve fireman's meeting minutes of June 17, 2024. All in favor? Any opposed? Hearing none, public comments, anything for good order?
Just a quick update on Rat's Park, the splash pads. So most of you have probably seen the splash pads in board. About 80% of the border around the splash pad is board. They started laying the block for the restrooms today. Trusses have been ordered. I would anticipate by this time next week we'll have a roof on it. Talk to Jay and Tom with the city, we're gonna build the partition walls on the inside of the restroom. Jay's gonna mount his panel, and then Tom's gonna run the electric to the building. We have to have electric into the building to get Helm back on site, because Jay is gonna pull wire out to the manifold box, for that manifold to work. He's gotta have electric there to do that, so he can hook everything up, we'll make one trip, hook everything up, start squirting more. So, the climbing rock is available, last we heard. I talked to Hinky today, he's gonna pour the curb for that next week, and get the drainage tile in, so that we can schedule the climbing rock to come out and replace, because they're doing all the concrete for the foundation of the climbing rock. And what we can gather, we're gonna pour the concrete stuff on it. And then all the splash boys and everything down at City Light, the exercise pad board. Really, it's just tie-in of sidewalks and everything at this point. It'll be done in a couple weeks. Process will be the fencing first and then we'll.
Anything else for good order? Hearing none, I'll adjourn at 7:07.
Okay, thank you. We'll take a short pause so we can switch tapes and whatnot, and then we'll do a couple items on a special council meeting.
Just how tight it's wound.
We believe we're switched over and ready to go. So with that, I will call the special council meeting to order at 7:09. And our deputy clerk, take roll call, please.
Dojan. Do I have to go in any certain order? Okay. Dojan's here. Nevoy,
Here.
Deman,
Here.
Theo,
Here.
Hanavit,
Here.
Reinecker,
Here.
Hebert,
Here.
Schwarzkopf.
Here.
Did you say you, Mayor,
all right.
on this list?
Conduct a little bit of business here, so, just wait a minute, okay, first item is the Kristen Ron loan application. I will call for a motion, based on the Economic Development Commission's recommendation, which to move forward in approving a 10-year loan at 3% interest for $550,000 in the revolving loan fund, first 12 months interest only, monthly principal amortization for the remainder of the loan with the contingencies, that being a commercial appraisal and also drawdown line of credit. Offer a motion on that. Mike? Motion by Reinecker,
Second.
second by Neeler. We'll commence roll call voting with Schwarzkopf.
Hey. Hey.
Hey.
Motion passes. Next item is a motion to close Westfield Drive, for July 26th and August 17th, for as hours as needed.
Well, I have the hours. The 26th would be from 3 to 9, and the 17th would be 10 a.m. to 12 or to midnight.
Okay, so as indicated. Roll call for motion on that.
Make one.
A motion by Schwarzkopf, second by Hebert. Any further discussion on that? Roll call voting starts with Hebert.
Hey.
Hey.
And that motion passes. Public guests and comments? Hearing none, I will call for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Honda, second by Hebert. All in favor? No one opposed? Motion carries, and we are adjourned at 7:11. Thank you, guys.
Why are we so long? Right there, 8%. Oh, sorry,